Okay, welcome everyone to the UCD Smurfit Virtual Open Day. We're just waiting to give a few moments for everyone to connect in, and so we'll commence in a few moments. So we'll just give a few moments. Okay, well, we'll get going. I'll stop the sharing. Okay, fine. Well, welcome everyone, both to those watching here live and those who may be viewing the recording later. I'm Peter Conlon, and I head up Global Leadership and Development here at UCD Smurfit. Now, for all our MSc and MAcc students, who together constitute well over 90% of our graduate student cohort, we offer the co-curricular Global Leadership Program, or GLP. You'll hear that GLP acronym a lot in this session, and if you come here. And so in this session, I'll introduce why it exists and also give a flavor of what it offers. Now, I'm helped today by my colleague, Alistair Brewer. So Alistair, you've already got your camera on. Oh, can you put your camera, is your camera on?
Yeah, camera's on.
Your camera's on, so I'm never quite sure if I'm seeing what everyone else sees or not. So Alistair there is a member of our admissions team. And so he's here to help me today with fielding questions. We have a Q&A box there that you can pop questions into as and when you see fit. And so I've reserved about 10 minutes at the end of this so that Alistair can help me then go through those questions, and I'll do my level best to answer them. Obviously, hopefully this session will answer a few questions along the way, but I recognize it may raise new questions as well. So we'll do our best to handle them at the end. And so with Alistair's help, I appreciate that. And we're also joined today by two of our current students, Yosya Hemrajani and Sean Murphy. And I'm going to be inviting both of those to come in a little bit later just to share their perspectives and their own experiences of the program, because like the student view is so much better than anything that I could say. So I just invite if the three of you want to turn your cameras off, I can get on and give a little bit more of an insight into this. Now, the master's program, of which we will offer quite a menu of options that you would choose to come and study here, follows a prescribed structure of core and elective modules, whatever it might be it management consulting or digital marketing or any of the range of options. They have a set prescribed structure, and that structure is the curriculum, and that's what you're assessed and graded against, and that's what your qualification is made up of. Now, sitting alongside that curricular program, but separate from it, is this Global Leadership Program, GLP. And by definition, then, as it's sitting alongside the curricular program, it is the co-curricular program. So everyone talks about this as being co-curricular. Now, this is entirely optional and ungraded. But if you engage with it above a certain baseline level, you can then get a GLP certificate at the end of your studies here. And this will also appear on the diploma supplement, which goes with your qualification. Now, the GLP has been trialed, developed, and expanded here at UCD Smurfit for over a number of years. And it's something that UCD Smurfit has invested in greatly, and we're very proud of it. Now, to its purpose, now employers obviously want to recruit qualified people from good programs and top schools. But they also want to know that the people they hire will be able to function well in the workplace. Hence, the employer needs to know if candidates, over and above them being able to get a good qualification, if they are self-driven and can demonstrate initiative, if they can collaborate, if they can work effectively in teams, if they have good communication skills, good presentation skills, have they got intercultural awareness skills, and so on. All these various facets which are vital, essential to an individual's effective functioning in a working environment. And so accordingly, interviewers spend most of the interview time focused on candidates' motivation, their professional skills, and their experience to try and tease out where the candidates stand on those various parameters. Like trying to answer the question that will the candidate fit within the organization and be able to develop themselves effectively within it. And so through very extensive engagement with employers, we've developed a very comprehensive competency framework as to what the employers are seeking, and everything we do on GLP is informed by that framework. And so accordingly, it is structured around 3 pillars. Now, there's a big framework, etc. I'm not even going to throw it at you today. That'll be given to those who come later on. But the fundamentals of the structure are 3 pillars. The first one is student initiative. The second is workplace skills. And the third is career planning. And so we have a range of options and possibilities that students can engage with under those pillars. And by engaging with the GLP to the extent that they're able, students can develop themselves and then build that personal narrative that they can then take to interview to demonstrate to the prospective employers that they have what they're seeking. Now, there's no obligation with this. Students, when they come here, may engage as much or as little as they wish. When you come, you have the option to register for the GLP. That effectively just simply puts you on a mailing list that you would just get a whole load of information as to the various things that are on or coming and opportunities and things you can get involved with. And it's up to each individual student to engage with that as far as they wish. Now, let me give you a flavor as to what goes on. I'm going to put on screen sharing here again. And I've got a few slides which can illustrate that. Should we stick with this? Second. Okay. Now, one of the things we do a lot is to try and invite very high impact, very helpful, very well-informed speakers, guest speakers from a range of backgrounds, range of perspectives. Obviously, UCD Smurfit has a huge alumni pool that we can draw on. And so we get some very, very good engaging speakers coming to speak to us. And so we have these slides show some of the events we've had. Some are very experienced CEOs, some are young entrepreneurs in a range of fields. The lady in this slide has set up a business very successfully in fashion. And we also have, this slide here shows people we had in from the world of finance. We had the CEO of Goodbody Stockbrokers there on the left-hand picture, and we had Evian Coakley from AIB, maybe Bank of Ireland, apologies, there on the right. And so we try and give students as much perspective, as much insight into the working world as possible. It's all about preparation for the workplace. That's the core of what the GLP is about. And so everything we do is to that aim. Here's another guest speaker we had only a couple of weeks ago, which was on focusing on building a brand in the digital era. Another entrepreneur who managed within a very short time to gain approaching 60,000 followers on TikTok. And so she was in to speak to us as to how she did that. And so all these sessions are very open and very engaging. And so they're very, very popular with students here. We have a series of competitions here, which are organized by the GLP. This one was our student advertising competition, where students invited to produce adverts for the school. And that was integrated with our advertising night event. And a big shout out to Yassia here, because you're in that picture, Yassia. She was on the winning team, which got top honors in this year's awards. And another competition. This one has a shout out to Sean, as you're appearing there in the picture. This is the case competition, which this year was sponsored by Deloitte. So in the picture there, we have the panel, which is a mixture of UCD academics and Deloitte senior managers with the winning team. And so that was another event which had a huge amount of interest and a huge number of student teams entering. I think we had 35 teams entering. And also, on this slide, I just want to make the important point that most of the events that we have put on here on the GLP are actually student-led and student-organized. So this picture here shows the 6 members of the Case Competition Organization Committee, people who volunteered at the start of the year, and they were the ones who behind the scenes made this whole event possible. And so it's we try to make it as fun and as rewarding as possible. Another thing to give another insight would be we have these consulting projects where we work with real businesses and act as consultants to help them with business development projects. And quite a lot of the businesses are in Africa. And so this is a team presentation call to an African client. And so that's another thing which we can have multiple student teams getting involved with. We have a series of workshops as well. This one here just shows a leadership masterclass workshop we had, which is a full day workshop, where we had a very good psychologist who came in and led the session. That was a very, very good day. Well, it was 2 days, it was run twice. And we have other workshops. This one here was on becoming a sustainability leader. And so a lot of focus on sustainability these days. And so we try to meet that need, that desire as much as possible. We also get external consultants coming in to give specialist sessions on various skills such as time and task management, or effective use of LinkedIn, and things like that. So we try to have as many constructive and informative sessions as possible, which are advertised in the mailing list, and you can join if you wish. We also have a range of cultural events, which again are student organized, and this was the Diwali event we had several months ago. And last but by no means least, we have our mentoring program. Now, as I mentioned before, Smurfit has a large number of alumni, I don't know how many thousands of them, and many of them very happily remain very engaged with the school. And a large number of them put themselves forward as mentors. And so we're able to line up GLP participating students to be mentees with those mentors. So we have a huge mapping exercise to try and align each student and what their aspirations and professional focus is with the most suitable alumni who may be able to give them this guidance. And so the program involves a minimum of 3 meetings with the alumni and with the alumni mentors, and they give them the guidance and help and support that the student may need. And this mentoring program is hugely beneficial, and we expanded it greatly last year, and we're actually able to expand it again this coming year. And so we can have even larger number of students being able to engage with it. But it's something that gets huge, very positive feedback back. It's rewarding, obviously, for the mentees, for the students themselves, but many of the alumni mentors come back year after year because they find it very satisfying and engaging too. And many of these alumni, I would say, are senior. I mean, we've had alumni who aspire to work in a particular company, and they end up with the CEO of that company as their mentor. And so there are sometimes happy, not coincidences, but happy matchings that add to the rewarding nature of the program. And so that's something which is very central to the GLP, and is one of the huge value adds on the program. I think that's the end of my slides. I'll just stop screen sharing there. I think at this point, I'd like to invite the 2 current students who are with us, Sean and Yossi, to come in and just give their perspective. I'll invite Sean to come first. And what I've asked about both Sean and Yossi to give us is maybe just a bit of insight into what their experience has been, what they've engaged with, and also, if possible, what they've managed to get out of it. And so going first with Sean Murphy, who, surprise, surprise, is Irish. Sean, if you could give it in a couple of minutes, give us your perspective, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Thanks a lot, Peter. My name's Sean. I'm currently a student of strategic management. And although I could say a lot about the GLP, I think the main things I'd like to say are relation to like how it reinforces your learning from modules. And what I mean by this is 2 modules we cover in my course are finance and leadership. And I had the opportunity to take up a related project on the Smurfit Finance Group, which allowed me to kind of use the skills I learned in my course. And this gives you a great opportunity for experience, as well as something to talk about in your interviews. As well as this, like Peter mentioned, the mentoring program gave me a lot of clarity. I was matched with someone in corporate finance, is where I want to pursue my career, and he helped me a lot. And we meet regularly every month or so. So that's been very beneficial. And then as Peter mentioned, the workshops. My favorite one was the leadership, where we got in an organizational psychologist. I felt like that gave me a lot of insight into who I was, and how to work with other people with different leadership styles. It's also very motivating to pursue a responsibility. So, for example, I'm class ambassador. I probably wouldn't have done that in my undergraduate. And I think just because I was in the GLP, it motivated me to pursue it. It also gives you the opportunity to meet people from other courses. So I've met a lot of friends from other courses through the GLP, through the workshops, and through different groups I'm a part of. And it really gets you outside your comfort zone, as long as you take the opportunities that pop up. There are an untold amount of opportunities that come out throughout the year, and as long as you're there to take them, it really gives you the extra value on top of your master's degree and that you'll get at the end of the year. So I can't praise it enough. And if you come to Smurfit, I'd 100% recommend taking up the opportunity.
Right. Thanks, Sean. Thank you very much. Yosia, if you could possibly add your perspective, that would be excellent.
Thank you, Peter. And I wholeheartedly agree with Sean. Everything that he said just encompasses everything that GLP offers. But I think the formal courses in UCD offer more of the formal development that you need, but UCD is more of like a holistic development. So it essentially makes you employable, especially as an international student. Having all these communication, leadership skills is very important. And two aspects that I'll highlight about the GLP, apart from like a lot of them, would be the flexibility that it offers. So first, when I came in, I was very overwhelmed with so many activities and so much that I wanted to do, but you have to also manage your schedule, which is very challenging. But GLP is very flexible. They have like online sessions, they have in-person sessions, and most of my sessions align with my lecture schedule also. So I used to either go to college early or like stay back after college and attend these sessions. And some of these sessions are also paid outside of UCD, but because you're a UCD student and more importantly, a GLP student, they are offered free of charge. Kudos to Peter for arranging all of that. And one more important aspect, like Peter mentioned, is the mentor-mentee program. I have a wonderful mentor who works in TikTok. She's introduced me to people who are working in HubSpot and Meta, so it's a lot of networking. And even with arranging the GLP activities, like I arranged the Halloween and the Holi festival this year, I could network with a lot of students and made some wonderful friends across like business analytics, finance, legal. So it helps you with a lot of networking, a lot of interacting with other students, and also with the professors. All of them are also very helpful because you have a tough schedule to manage. They are very understanding. And at times, like when projects popped up and I couldn't manage some things, they were very understanding and helped me arrange my schedule. So do participate in the GLP, and I think the only regret I have with it is that I did not participate enough and did not attend many activities. So don't stick to the minimum requirement, attend as much as you can. And I'm happy to help out if anyone has any questions also on LinkedIn.
That's great. Yosia and Sean, thank you both very much. I'll just add and reinforce what they've said and just make the very important point that the business school, Smurfit, UCD Smurfit here, is a safe learning environment. So you can try, you can explore what your abilities are and push the limits. And everything you do here is obviously private within the safe business school environment. And that's the great opportunity you have when you go to any business school, that you can trial things and develop yourself without feeling that you're being broadcast anywhere, or you're showing your potential future work colleagues what you're like. So it's really up to you to engage with the activities as much as you'd like to, and focus on the areas you think are important to your own development. I mean, everyone's different, everyone has different focuses, and we try to accommodate that as much as possible. I think I actually am amazingly running to time. I would like to invite Alistair to come back in and join me. If there were any questions that have arisen, if there isn't crystal clarity or even imparted upon the audience.
We've got plenty of questions coming through.
Oh, don't tell me that. I failed. Okay.
I've been marking them, so I could just perhaps go through them, and I think quite a few to you. So first question we've got here, is it mandatory to be part of all the events and meetings of the GLP program?
It's an obvious question. No, you can sign up and do absolutely nothing. And it's your option whether you can do anything above nothing. You can try and do everything, which probably would kill you. That'd be too much. We have such a range of options. But it's really up to you to engage with it as much or as little as you like. And we understand that people can have different things happening in their lives, and they also don't yet know how busy they will be at different times. So it's really for every student when they come here just to feel the way forward and to engage as much as they comfortably can.
Great. And we've got another one here saying, it is for 1 year. Is the GL program for 1 year?
It's for all the students who are coming in for a full-time program. The programs are a 1-year program. And so the GLP runs for that period of time. But for those who are doing a part-time program, where their studies are spread out over 2 years, they can then be GLP participants for the whole 2 years. So it runs coincident with your enrolled time at UCD Smurfit.
Great. I've got a good one here. How do I get into the GLP? Is there any procedure through which the student has to go through?
There's simply a registration. You don't even apply, it's just simply registration. Give your details, say, I would like to be on that mailing list. It's as simple as that. Now, what we will do in August, I think it's scheduled for August 12th, I'll be giving the GLP introduction webinar, where I'll give a little bit more insight into the framework and how it's structured and how it's organized. And then immediately after that webinar, registration will go live. And those incoming students who wish to register may do so, just with their name, student number, and email. And they're there on the mailing list. And then above and beyond that, their engagement is entirely up to them.
Well, that sort of follows into this next question of the engagement's up to them. Somebody's put here, how much time should they invest in the GLP? So is there an amount you would recommend, perhaps?
We certainly don't do any measurements by hours or anything like that, or I give any steers to what's good, what's bad. It's really for people to identify what will be of relevance and value to them and to engage with it to the extent they can. Now, sometimes, I mean, a lot of our guest talks are an hour or an hour and a half. And so you may have someone might come and just go to two guest talks the entire year, in which case it's an hour and a half of their time twice in the year. So that could be a fairly low level engagement. If they want to get more involved and join one of the many committees we have, focus on different things, ranging from social media to organization of the case competition to a range of other things. Those will obviously require a little bit more of a time investment. And so if you put yourself forward for that, we would give an indication as to what the level of involvement would be, and then you can decide whether you want to become part of that.
I've got a couple of questions here, very similar, about the requirements or eligibility for the program. So is there any
the eligibility is very simple, that you're a student here doing either an MSc or MSc program or the MAcc program. Now, the only other students we have here are those doing MBA, and so they have their own arrangements. So they don't participate in the Global Leadership Program. But like I said, way more than 90% of all students here will be either doing an MSc or the MAcc. And so simply by being enrolled and turning up, you are eligible.
Somebody's asked, well, as you mentioned, do we get certification at the end of the program? You did mention that, but also they're asking, is there any charges for the program?
There are no charges. In the fees you pay to join the school,
yeah.
So apart from those charges, no additional charges to join the GLP. So what was the other part of the question? Sorry.
Do they get certification?
Oh, certificate. Sorry. Yes, my head's so full. The certificate is simply, like I mentioned, there's 3 pillars to the program. There's student initiative, workplace skills, and career planning. And if you do at least one substantial activity under each of those 3 pillars in the course of the whole year, then you've met the baseline of activity that qualifies you to get the GLP certificate. That means that 2 people can get the GLP certificate, but for different levels of engagement. Some people may have been able to do 3 or 4 activities, and that's great. Others may have been able to do more. Everyone gets the same GLP certificate, but the only difference is that you just have more of a narrative, more to say if you've done more. And so what we say is that the GLP certificate is not the end of a conversation, rather it's the beginning of a conversation. It's something that can appear on your CV or being mentioned in a cover letter, and the employer can say, oh, you've got Global Leadership Program certificate. What is that? Or if they know what it is already, maybe they've already got it, they can say, well, what did you do to get that? That then starts the conversation, opens a conversation that you can then deliver your narrative as to how you have shown initiative, how you've developed yourself, and how you can be a good fit for the organization.
Great, thanks, Peter. Also got a couple of questions here, 2 separate questions asking for how does the GLP, is it suitable for those doing SEMS, given their tight schedule? Is it possible to follow both programs simultaneously?
The answer is yes, you can definitely be engaged, and that SEM students who are with us, when they're with us, I know that there's this rotating thing where they're there half the year. So any SEM students who are with us are fully welcome to join the GLP, be on the mailing list, and join in whatever takes their fancy. So there's no restriction on the SEM students. Obviously they just they're largely restricted to when they're here, in their time with us. Although I think if there are some things that are online, they probably can still join them remotely. Because as long as you're a UCD student at some point in your studies on that program, then you're welcome to the party.
Great. I've got a question here from Eddie. Do you have any course specific certifications or associations that you recommend, e.g. for marketing?
There's a whole load of external organizations, societies, etc., that you can interface with, either yourself or through participation in the GLP. But we don't have a detailed list. I think it's more for students to come and engage and then meet with other students and then together collectively find out what the opportunities are. In fact, that's a very good point, actually. I should have stressed that, is that when you come to study in any business school, you're normally confined largely, just by the nature of your timetable, to the silo that is your master's program. And what the GLP gives is the opportunity for you to engage outside of that silo, to engage with other students from all the other programs. And so it's a great socializing and mixing and networking and horizon broadening opportunity above and beyond just what the activities themselves are, because you'll be participating in all those activities and events with a whole range of similarly interested students very much like you. And so the social aspect is very important to stress. So thanks for reminding me to mention that.
We've still got a few minutes, so if you do have any other questions, please feel free to...
I'm still standing or sitting.
Yeah, feel free to put them in the chat box. There's another one here I've got. Would you say it's appropriate for people who have a few years of work experience already, those who perhaps are familiar with the work environment? Would you say the GLP is still appropriate for them? Yeah,
that's a question that I'm asked a good number of times, and it's a very good question. The GLP is very much a range of options which people can participate in, and they basically start from wherever they are. So you can gain and develop from whatever baseline you've achieved. So if you've got no work experience or 5 years work experience, there's a whole range of options with which you can engage and develop yourself from that point onwards. So it really is open to everyone, and everyone can engage with and get value from it. So it's not confined or constrained to any particular individual profile.
Great. And I've just got another question here. Does the GLP involve students from other universities or colleges?
It doesn't involve students from other universities for the most part. Sometimes you have engagement with the undergraduate school of business, the Quinn School at UCD, but not other universities, apart from when teams may be representing UCD Smurfit in competitions where they're actually going to other institutions. Like, for example, if students are going to be representing us in the Harvard case competition or in Montreal or wherever that might be, then of course you'll be engaging with those students. But for the most part, it is within the school and stays within the school environment. Yeah, most of the activities.
Great. And just what here? How can we stay tuned about GLP related communications, like the introduction presentation on August the 12th?
Okay, the onboarding communications will be going out to those students who are enrolled or enrolling or considering enrolling, will contain links and information to those things as they become appropriate. So once you're enrolled, you then get the onboarding emails, which will give communications such as the registration links and the scheduling for that. And so that will all come as soon as you are an enrolled student and on the system. I think I'd maybe type one more there, Alistair.
One more? Yeah, okay. There's one here. Are there levels of different GLP certificates?
No, this is one GLP certificate. It simply says you participated, but what each individual's narrative, each individual's story is different. And so the certificate, like I said before, is to enable a conversation to start. And that's where the differences between different people's engagement can then be related. So it's all the same certificate. Everyone gets the same one. There's no first class or second class. That's a good question. Brilliant.
Right.
Well, I can see the clock has been against us. And I would simply say that I hope this has given you a better insight into what makes our GLP. It is something that is very unique to UCD Smurfit. And I hope you may come and participate in it if that is your choice. And my thanks again to Sean, Yossia, Alistair, and the whole support team who are behind the scenes. That's much appreciated. And I'll simply end there and wish everyone... Oh.
Yeah, no, I was just going to give, perhaps if you are, just always handy to give the email. So I would just like to give, smurfit.admissions@ucd.ie. just if you do have any inquiries or help along the way with your application, then you can send us. And that's often a good point of call when you're coming through the process to come to join us. So often we'll be your first point of contact if you're not sure, and then we can forward you to the relevant party. Okay, so if you do have any questions about your application, that's always a good email to try. Yeah,
Alistair is part of a very very responsive team there in admissions, so they're standing by to help you.
We do try
along the way, and they try hard and they do well. Thanks, Alistair. Well, but simply with that, I will simply end there and wish everyone a pleasant evening. Thank you.